It is time to cook some food. I have food in the fridge that I've been meaning to meal prep for the past week, and I have not been able to get to that. Before any more time goes on and I lose my money because I let the food go bad, let's get cooking.
We are starting this meal prep with rice. I do rice pretty much every meal prep, and that is because it's so versatile and so easy. Even if I don't know exactly what I'm gonna meal prep that week, I can still make rice because I can always make something with it eventually. Like, I know I can use it in some way. I actually did have an idea for this rice, and it was to make some sort of Mexican inspired bowl similar to Chipotle, but with my own twist on things. I'm starting off by making some guacamole. So I'm just getting some really ripe avocados that I had to use up in the fridge. I'm grabbing some cilantro, chopping that up, adding the juice of limes. I really like anything that I make to be very limey, so that is up to you how much you put. I do like to add just a little bit of finely diced onion in there, as well as some salt, pepper, and some sort of spice. I didn't have jalapenos, but I did have red pepper flakes, so I went with that. After giving that a nice little presentation, I went back to my rice because it was actually done cooking. It cooks so fast, so I transferred it to its own container and I let it cool down before putting it in the fridge. But I did want to use the same pot for this pasta that I was getting prepped as well. A really easy way to not get overwhelmed when you are going to meal prep is to just think, okay, I'm going to pick 3 carbohydrate sources, 3 protein sources, and go from there. Let's say you have chicken, beef, and fish. What can you make with the chicken? What can you make with the beef? What can you make with the fish? Let's say you have rice, pasta, and potatoes. When you have these different options, then you can mix and match them to your heart's desire. And then I always love to add a fresh element on top. Meal prepped food can get kind of dull and boring. So that is my idea with all of these salads that I'm making. As you can see, I chopped up some cucumbers, tomatoes, and added feta to this. It's more Mediterranean inspired, but it's so good on so many things. You can add this to your omelet in the morning. You can put it over some rice and chicken. Have it over some hummus toast. So even though this is also meal prepped, it just adds life to your cooked meal prepped foods, if that makes sense. I'm moving on to sweet potatoes, getting them peeled, but then I noticed that my pasta was done, so I got that out quickly before it overcooked. And I'm adding some pre-made pesto on top, and this is such a hack because it's so flavorful and so good. I literally only just added some extra Parmesan cheese because I'm obsessed with Parmesan cheese, but you don't even have to do that. It's so flavorful, and it makes for a really good lunch or dinner base. I have all of my sweet potatoes peeled, and now I'm starting the chopping process. I'm going to dice them and I'm going to roast them in the oven. So I actually had my oven preheating while I was doing all of this prep for the sweet potatoes so that I could get them in there and then move on to the next thing. I love having sweet potatoes just ready because my son loves them and I can add them to breakfast, and they are also very versatile. So I love just prepping things that I can create a lot of meals with. Finally, going back to those Mexican inspired bowls that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. This is pico de gallo that I'm working on. And again, I don't have jalapenos, so that's not in there. And it normally is traditionally. But I went ahead and just added some red pepper flakes again. And I don't have to use this just for the Mexican bowls. I can also add this on an omelet or a taco or whatever I'm in the mood for that day. Once my potatoes were done, I set them into their own container and I let those cool down before I put them in the fridge again. And I just washed the same sheet that I put in the oven really quickly to prep my salmon that I was going to cook. And this is me thinking smart. You see how you're noticing a pattern where I'm using the same dishes so that I have less dishes. I love that for me. I love getting some veggies prepped. And even though this is one thing that I really do like to have freshly made, it's also just very convenient to have them made already. That is going to be the next thing that I roast in the oven after my salmon, and it came out beautifully. I'm so happy about it. I haven't made salmon in a really long time, so I forgot that I should have used some form of non-stick, like either parchment paper or even foil, to separate the salmon skin from the pan because I had a really hard time getting it off. But I did, and I was able to get my my greens roasted as well, and I was really happy about that. Got that into its own container, set that aside, let it cool down again before putting it in the fridge. So this is my spread. I've got some pesto pasta, some rice, sweet potatoes, some veggies ready, cucumber tomato salad, guacamole, pico de gallo, and my salmon. I'm getting all of that organized in my fridge, and I am ready to go for the next few days. This feels so great. Let me know if you want to see more of this kind of video, and I will see you next time.